So, if you guys have been following my channel for a little bit of time, you guys remember this guy right here. His name is Gus33000. Now, why is he important? Well, he was the guy who was trying to and successfully hacking the Surface Duo 1. He picked up the Duo 1 for the strict reason of actually getting it to hopefully run a different OS, maybe not, of course, Windows 11 or Windows 10, but he was trying to get it to at least do something and seeing what he could do. This is the guy who actually got Windows 10 to run on the Lumia 950. So once he picked up the Surface Duo 1, we all got excited thinking like, oh my god, this guy's going to be doing something. And the first thing he did was right here where he went ahead and actually, we don't even know exactly what he did here, but he was able to do something. And we finally got an update. We really haven't seen much of an update since, 1 month ago, really. I mean, he talked about a tad bit, but he really didn't go in depth about any kind of update on what, actually was happening with the Surface Duo 1. Well, here is our update as we go up here. He's just showing off right here, of course, the Microsoft phone with, of course, Surface Duo 1. But here is some updates. So on the 23rd, he posted this right here, which I don't know if this 100% is about the Surface Duo, but the next tweet kind of makes me think it's about the Surface Duo. And that's because he showed this picture exact same time he posted that one. He posted this one right here. Now he said, also looks like my storage got reduced. So obviously, yes, this is the Surface Duo 1. If you guys do not know, he doesn't strictly say this is Surface Duo 1, but you see that little tab right there that you would slide up on, and the aspect ratio of this screen from here to here is pretty clear. This is a Surface Duo 1. Now, that's interesting because, again, he was trying to hack the Surface Duo 1 and actually go ahead and, be able to change up some things, right? Now, this is not the first time somebody has hacked a device and been kind of backfired on. If you guys remember, Samsung, when the Z Fold 3 came out, they actually countered hackers by saying if you hack the Fold 3, you lose camera access completely. So anyone who rooted the Z Fold 3 did not have access to the cameras anymore, and they really had to unroot it just to go ahead and use their cameras. Now, after a couple months, Samsung went ahead and fixed that, and they said, don't worry, if you want to root it now, you can. Just when it first came out, that's when we said you couldn't, but then after a couple months, they fixed that, and if you do root it, you do not lose camera access. So right here, he was messing around with the Surface Duo 1, and he actually lost some of his storage, which is really, really interesting. So the Duo 1 comes in 2 iterations. I believe it comes in 128 gigabytes and a 512 gigabyte model. So, well, I'm sorry, 128 and 256 gigabyte model. My bad. So this is really interesting that he did go ahead and lose it all the way down to 64 gigabytes. So as you guys can see, it's not like there's anything else being taken up. I mean, it says 21.88 of 64 gigabytes is used. So yes, he lost half of his storage by trying to hack the Surface Duo 1. Now again, we don't know 100% if it's literally Microsoft putting in parameters to take away this if you do hack it. But what we do know is that whatever he did ended up reducing the storage by half. Now, the next image he shows here, it says, well, that's one new UI, LOL. So obviously right here it has the Surface Duo. It says boot select. Then it says recovery mode, power off. Press volume button to change selection. Pretty much this is launching it in boot mode. Or if you are a tech savvy person and you do go ahead and use a PC, if you know what a BIOS for a PC is, this is the same concept. You don't know what a BIOS for a PC is, pretty much it's how the base minimum, the bare minimum of how your PC runs. So for example, you open up a PC, turn on PC, a lot of people who turn on PC, they don't even care about the BIOS. They don't look at any of that kind of stuff. They're strictly just focused on the PC, playing games, doing whatever, right, on the actual PC. Well, there are a lot of things you can do in BIOS. You can update your motherboard. You can also change your fan speeds. You can also control every little detail of your PC. I'm not talking about like, like the displays and that. I'm talking about literally the in detailed stuff where you can boost your RAM. You could overclock your PC. You can overclock your CPU, GPUs, all that kind of stuff. That's all found in BIOS. Now, that same concept applies to cell phones. If you are rooting cell phones and you're going through a whole entire process with cell phones, this same concept applies when it comes to cell phones. The same idea that you're booting into a BIOS. A lot of times, though, cell phones will actually boot into safe mode. And safe modes can look exactly like this right here, because if the system fails to launch itself, it will boot into this kind of idea. Now, obviously, right here it does say bootloader version, and then right there. And again, he is trying to boot this into something that isn't Android 10. Now, he did post this, I believe, on the 24th. So this was before the Android 11 update was actually launched on the Surface Duo 1. So he was actually taking Android 10 and trying to figure out a way to boot into something else, right? Boot into a new system, a new idea, right? So this is really, really dope. And again, like I said, now that we got Android 11, obviously this is absolutely amazing on this device. I love Android 11 on the Surface Duo 1. And it makes Surface Duo 1 a very plausible device to go ahead and pick up, own, and actually, use it as a real device. I mean, ironically here, obviously you wouldn't use a real device, but this could actually be a daily driver again. This, for the longest time, was strictly, in my opinion, just a secondary device. It was a device you could pick up, have fun with, and play with, but it wasn't a primary device. It was a secondary device. This has now become a primary device again. And I will tell you right now, that is absolutely amazing that, Microsoft found a way to actually get not only Android 11 to work on this device, but work so fluently that, yes, you don't have NFC, you don't have water resistance, and you don't have wireless charging, but you are able to actually use this as an actual full-on flagship device. That's amazing by Microsoft. And again, like I said, I'm going to keep you guys updated on this guy right here, because this man right here is doing some stuff going on. And I can't wait to see what he posts about this, actual UI running full on this device and what it looks like. Because again, like I said before, Microsoft, this guy apparently did try to do an internship with Microsoft and they rejected him. They definitely need to look back into this, because this guy is absolutely a monster when it comes to hacking these devices and figuring out a way to actually go ahead and run these systems on these devices that probably should never, ever, ever be able to be ran. And again, like I said before, this One UI or whatever he ran actually took half of his storage and cut it in half. Again, like I said, I'm going to assume 110% that was strictly based on the bootloading he's doing and not based on Microsoft being like Samsung. I don't think Microsoft really thought that far ahead to think anyone would be hacking their Surface Duo 1 or 2. But like I said before, this guy did say in another post that he is going to be picking up the Surface Duo 2, though. He did say that he wants to pick up the Duo 2. As you say right here, needs to get the Duo 2, though. And again, like I said, that's going to be even more interesting, because if he can run, whatever UI, whatever system on the Duo 1, if he picks up the Duo 2, man, that's next level, because then we're talking about real performance. Don't get me wrong, this still has an 855 processor, so has 60 gigabytes of RAM, still a really solid device. But once you get to the Duo 2, you get 8 gigabytes of RAM, you get an 888 processor, you got a little bit more horsepower behind it, you got a little bit more power overall wise. That's when we're going to start talking about some really juicy stuff, and I can't wait to see. Guys, tell me down below your thoughts and opinions, though, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.